Hey guys, how's it going? So this is the most expensive portable headphone that I've ever purchased. This is the Bowers & Wilkins PX8S2. These are their flagship headphones and they are claiming to be the best portable headphones out there. And after checking these out for about a month, I have some thoughts, and without wasting any time, I don't really think I like these, which, based off of all the reviews I've seen, seems to be a hot take. Everybody's really in love with these. And mainly what I don't like is the sound. And I hate to do this in these types of videos because if I talk about the sound right away, people click off the video halfway through, but whatever. That's just what I'll start off with. So I'm gonna break up the sound into two different categories. I'm gonna review the sound quality of these headphones on their own, and then I'm gonna start comparing it to some of the other headphones that I have out there. So let's just get right into it. The way this entire headphone is constructed, the way the drivers are angled, are manufactured in a way to create a wide open sound, and it does do that. It's a very wide and open headphone, one of the widest I've ever used, which is nice. What I'm starting to realize, that's important to me for a lot of these portable headphones, because when they're closed in, I feel more closed in. I feel like more claustrophobic wearing them, so I don't feel as comfortable wearing more closed in headphones, or at least closed in sounding headphones when I'm out and about. I do like that this sounds a little bit open. It makes me feel like I'm not just boxed in listening to headphones, if that makes any sense at all. But instruments sound like they're coming from in front of me, behind me. It actually makes a really good gaming headset too, if you're into that kind of stuff. I'm a gaming focused channel, so I always cover gaming whenever I can. And plugging these in with USB-C sounds amazing with games. It doesn't give the most detail out there, which is what a lot of reviewers were saying, and that's kind of what I want to talk about next. These headphones have a very exciting sound to it. The bass is way overemphasized to the point where I feel like it destroys some of the mids. I listen to a lot of metal and I feel like the bass is so strong that I can't really hear the guitars as well. If you've ever mixed or produced a metal track, you know that the guitar and the bass together is what makes that impacting sound. When the bass is too strong, you don't really get that metal sound that I like to hear when I'm listening to a lot of headphones, and sometimes I don't get that from this. And to make matters worse, I feel like the mids are a bit scooped. I think the way the mids are tuned, they tune it so much to bring out the details that it sometimes sounds artificial. Sometimes when I'm listening to tracks of vocals, especially male vocals, they sound a little bit recessed compared to other headphones I listen to, and a little bit recessed compared to the rest of the mix. This can kind of create an exciting sound that I know a lot of people like, but I don't like that. I like to hear all the detail. But I think one reason why Bowers & Wilkins designed it this way is that it's meant to create a little bit of sparkle and a little bit more presence. When you do have like slightly scooped mids to where you can hear like texture on like a piano or on a saxophone, even somebody's voice. So even though you can't really hear the intricate tones of their voice, you can hear more of like the breathiness or the throatiness, if that is in there. So it's kind of a trade-off. I don't always like it. When I go back to some other headphones, I find that I'm able to hear a lot more details out of them, which is unusual. That's not what you keep on hearing from reviewers. People praise this to be the best out there. I wish I could say the same, because I do love a lot about these. And before I get to some of the other stuff I love about it, let's talk finally about the highs. And this is where things are really difficult for me. And you guys, if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I love highs. I love the sound of a snare. I love the sound of cymbals. And these are incredibly pronounced on these, to the point where sometimes it could create some distortion and it creates a little bit of fatigue. Again, Bowers & Wilkins is trying to create the maximum amount of detail by overemphasizing the highs, the part where it can sound a little bit shrill to me sometimes. Based off of what I described with the bass, mids, and the highs, I don't find this to be a very pleasant headphone to listen to. It's almost like jarring. It's like, sure, it might be very detailed, but I don't know. I'm thinking about like an analogy to use. Just because, like, oh, like peppers, like just because a pepper is the spiciest pepper out there doesn't mean that it's the best to eat. Sometimes you want a little bit of flavor. I feel like they're just overwhelming you with spice on these headphones that it's hard to really appreciate the flavor and like the uniqueness of each track. The little fine details I feel like just goes missing when I'm comparing it to the other headphones that I'm about to talk about. And let me just do that right now. So I compared a lot of it to these. These are the Sennheiser's HDB 630, and I find these to be the king when it comes to sound quality. The thing is though, if your ears get used to listening to the Bowers and Wilkins and you go to this will sound dull and dead, and it will not sound interesting to listen to. And that's another thing too. When I go back to some of my other audiophile grade headphones, like these are the ROG Catharas right here, and these are some of my favorite headphones that's around $300. But I shouldn't really compare these to these because they're wired only. They're gigantic, and they are not portable or wired. But the reason why I'm bringing these up are these are reference level headphones at only $300. So I do a lot of my A/B testing with these just to make sure that I'm not going crazy. Sometimes you get analysis paralysis when you just A/B testing things so much that they all start to sound the same sometimes. So sometimes I need like a palate cleanser, just like a break. So I use these a lot for it. And also my HE1000 SEs as well too, just to make sure I'm not losing my mind when it comes to these. And what I'm trying to say is, if I spend a long time listening to this, so I spent an entire week listening to this, and my ears finally adjusted to the heavy bass and the screeching highs, to when I went back to my other more neutral sounding headphones, they all sounded dull. The bass just sounded like they weren't there anymore, so I had to spend some time for my ears and my brain to adjust to how things should sound. So I guess what I'm trying to say, if you care about accuracy, these are not it. These provide a lot of accuracy and a lot of fine detail, especially in the mids. Good headphones bring out the mids, and these do an incredible job. I know to some people they might sound boring, but spend some time, let your ears adjust, and then the magic really starts to happen with these. Another thing I want to compare it to are the Sony XM6s, and I know a better comparison would be for the 1000X collection, which I'm a small channel, guys. I pay for all this stuff by myself. So, oh my God, so please like and subscribe. But regardless, I did buy the collections and they're gonna be here soon. So I'm gonna do another video on that one. But again, like when it comes to the mids and the details, it's weird, but I actually prefer the Sonys over the Bowers and Wilkins too. Overall, these are better headphones. I think if these were tuned better, I think the Bowers and Wilkins could probably be the best out of all of these, but just the way they're tuned, I still think that the Sony does a nice presentation. I love Sony's tuning. It sounds like a warm speaker-like sound, and their bass is high and a bit overemphasized, but not too much. The mids still come through nice and detailed, and their highs are a little bit recessed. And I just want to come back to the Sennheisers too. Sennheisers by default are a bit veil sounding, but overall, still, I would prefer these two over the Bowers and Wilkins any day. And I don't really take much pride in saying that because I'm going against the grain here, and that's not really what I want to do, but I also got to be honest. The last headphones I want to compare it to is the Apple AirPods Max 2. And ironically, the sound signature are the closest between these two because Apple does go for a more fun and exciting sound. They didn't used to before. They used to be fairly neutral, but the way Apple is doing things now, ever since the AirPods Pro 3, is more of an exciting sound. When I listen to the Bowers and Wilkins and the AirPods Max 2 back to back, it might seem at first like there's more detail in the Bowers and Wilkins, but when you really start to pay attention to the mids, I start to notice more details in the AirPods Max. And if I'm gonna go for a more fun, energizing, exciting sound, I'm always gonna choose the AirPods Max. Just quickly getting outside of sound, right now I'm just naturally in the Apple ecosystem. I mean, just because for video editing, Apple, I hate to say it, is the best for that. And my phone of choice right now is the iPhone. I tried switching to the Galaxy S26 Ultra, but I just found myself keep on coming back to iPhone, which is not something I would have said even 3 years ago, but I'm digressing. That could be a conversation for another video. But the convenience of these AirPods Max plus the good sound is kind of what makes this be my #1 used headphone right now. I want to do a follow-up on this though. I feel the weight started to bother me a little bit more. But anyway, all right, so the last thing in terms of the sound that I want to talk about, which is a bit strange because unlike the other headphones I just spoke about, they sound pretty consistent whether you're using the ANC, the transparency, and when it's just off. These have a very different sound signature when ANC and transparency, or they call it aware mode, is off. The tuning is actually much different, and to me it sounds a lot better. The bass takes a bit of a backseat, the mids sound more natural, and the highs sound more natural as well too. So when I did my analysis just now, that was on both transparency and noise canceling. I feel like people buy these type of headphones with that on, but if you want, in my opinion, a boost in audio quality, use these with both ANC and transparency off as much as you can. I find that it sounds a lot better. That's the thing, man. Like, I really think that these could be the best sounding headphones. I just don't like the way they're tuned. And I know you might be saying, yes, you can use the equalizer, and yet I did mess around with it. But the problem, there just isn't enough bands. When I bring down the lows, which I want to bring all the way down to -6, there's still some mid bass that's here on the second band, but then when I bring this down, then it starts to interfere with some of the mids too, so then I got to boost up the mids and then bring this down more. So I end up just going like this, doing this insane dance, and I want to bring the highs all the way down, but then it starts to mess around with some of the other frequencies in the mix. So like, I think there needs to be more bands, or their true sound needs to be accurate, which is not. So true sound is not true sound on this. But like I said, when everything is off, you get a much better presentation in the overall sound package. So interesting to note, but just still kind of frustrating all at the same time. And also, these are Bluetooth headphones, but they sound much better through USB audio. Almost incredible audiophile level. It's breathtaking, but again, you have to like the way that Bowers & Wilkins tunes their headphones. When it comes to Bluetooth, they sound pretty good, but USB on this particular headphone sounds a lot better than other headphones through USB audio. So I think that's one thing they could also tweak. Maybe they could work on their Bluetooth performance too. That could be part of the issues that I'm talking about right now. Maybe a lot of other reviewers only reviewed it with ANC and transparency off, and maybe only through USB. But I try to review this as a portable headphone because that's what it's advertised as, and that's why I'm buying it as. If I was buying a headphone for only USB, it would be one of those larger headphones that I showed earlier. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, so I tackled the big things, and if you guys are still with me, man, I really appreciate it. Next I want to talk about, though, one thing I do love is the build. This is the best looking headphone I have ever used. I love how everything is made out of premium materials, stainless steel or aluminum. While there might be some plastic somewhere on the headphones, maybe in this ear cup, it's wrapped in leather, and the ear cups are also leather along with the headband at the back. And this isn't no pleather or protein leather. This is the real deal leather. And I haven't felt a device with leather in a long time. Everyone's moving away from that, but man, it just feels so much better. If you want to go 100% vegan, I'm not going to judge you, but the real leather just has a much different feel and fit towards it. I love these arms that lead up to the headband too, and the way that they were able to hide the cables by threading it through the metal that leads up to the headband. Very nicely done, very tastefully done. The one thing I don't like is this Bowers & Wilkins logo. It kind of looks like a tramp stamp, but I love this brushed metal on it, and I love that the edges are chamfered, so you get a little bit of luster without it looking too shiny and too blingy. Everything about the way that this headphone is built is just so tasteful and so thoughtful. Love the way it looks. And in terms of comfort, really good too. Surprisingly, it's light on the head, even though it has such premium materials. And when it's on, I could sometimes forget about it. The only thing is though, I wish there was probably a little bit more padding on the top, or if there was a little bit more clamping force, maybe it could help relieve some of the pressure that I get on the top of my head. Not too much though, I do tend to get used to it, but when you put it on, that's the first thing you notice. You feel some hot spots on the top of your head. Last I want to talk about is the noise canceling and the transparency. Noise canceling is good enough for me. These are not headphones you're gonna buy if noise canceling is the most important thing to you, but to me, they're more than serviceable. One thing that's also very important to me that a lot of other reviewers don't talk about, to me this is even more important, is the transparency mode, or they call it the aware mode. And this one is really good, surprisingly really good. I mean, not as natural as something like the AirPods Max or the Sonys. These two do an incredible job to where sometimes when I'm wearing these, I don't feel like I'm wearing headphones because I'm able to like listen to all my surroundings, have conversations with people. I don't have to keep on taking my headphones on and off. These do a fairly good job too. They don't sound as natural, but it does what it's supposed to do. It makes you aware of your surroundings. But yeah, other than that though, I don't think I would recommend these at this price, at least not to me. I know everybody's different, everybody likes a different soundstage, but I really believe, but I don't know. I'm really interested. If you have these headphones, I wanna hear from you in the comments. Am I the only one here that don't really love the soundstage and the sound signature of these headphones as much as much as the other reviewers are, and I don't feel like they're that far off from some of the other competition out there. Really curious, guys. Let me know. Leave me a comment and like and support this channel in any way you can possible. Like I said, I buy all this stuff with my own money, and it's getting too expensive these days. So anything you can do to help out the channel. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Bye.